All right, Jimmy. Kyle Shanahan spoke 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago, and he had good news, or so it seemed. He was presenting good news, but he always has a negative tone with everything. And basically what he was doing was presenting a challenge to his quarterback through the media and pretending it was good news. So the good news is Jimmy Garoppolo is a full go for practice. No restrictions. And as a fan, you're supposed to think, great, he's 100% healthy, he's good. But what Kyle said is, but look, he's not 100% healthy. He's a full go. He basically has to play through this injury. And he may not be 100% healthy the rest of the season. High ankle sprains are tricky. They linger. They're lingerers. And basically what Shanahan says was, I don't care. He needs to play. He needs to perform at his best. He's not going to be as good as he usually is. We know that. But you still have to play if you're compromised. And he said, look at Ben Garland, our center. He has a high ankle sprain. He had a month off. He came back, and he's been struggling through it, not playing at his best, but playing for the team, stepping up, because if it weren't for him, the center would be Hronis Grasu. So Shanahan had a lot of respect for Garland. And basically he's saying, like, we need to see the same from Jimmy. I need to see that level of, to me, Shanahan considers it professionalism. It's not enough to play when you're 100% healthy. You sign that contract, you're agreeing to play if it's physically possible. And what Shanahan's saying is, I don't know if Jimmy's that player. He hasn't proven that he's the kind of guy who's willing to play through injury, who enjoys competing when he's less than 100% healthy. I think he straight up called out Jimmy Garoppolo today and challenged him and said, look, man, we're not going to use the ankle as an excuse anymore. I benched you at halftime because you were playing poorly, and I told the world it's because your ankle hurt. That's over with. Last week, you were a limited participant. Now you're a full participant. Now you're healthy enough to play. If you're freaked out on the field, then people are just going to say this is an overall pattern that's been going on since week one, because he looked freaked week one. Remember that pirouette that he did in the pocket where he spun right, spun back left, spun back right, and got sacked? That was on him. That was before he hurt his ankle. I mean, he looked like he's been unhappy playing football and scared to get hurt for a long time, since before he hurt his ankle. So to me, Shanahan's calling him out. And I got to say real quick, if you guys have been reading me for years, you may remember this. But when I wrote for the Press Democrat, when the 49ers traded for Jimmy Garoppolo in 2017, I did a feature where I interviewed 2 Boston writers about Jimmy, what to expect, Ben Volin and Ron Borges. And they both gave very interesting insights. One thing Borges said was that some people on the Patriots question Jimmy Garoppolo's toughness, that they question whether his willingness to play through injury. If you remember, in 2016, he was the starting quarterback in New England week 1 and week 2 because Jimmy Garoppolo got suspended 4 games for deflating footballs. Jimmy Garoppolo only made it 6 quarters. Week 1, he eviscerated the Cardinals, a good Cardinals team. Week 2, he left in I believe the first half. He played either the second or third quarter. He got knocked out of the game against the Dolphins, injuring his shoulder. And that was it. He was done. Didn't come back. Jacoby Brissett replaced him. The Patriots were down to their 3rd quarterback. I believe Brissett broke his thumb, something in his hand, and played through it. Because if he didn't play, they were out of quarterbacks. And from what Borges said on the record was that the Patriots all had tremendous respect for Jacoby Brissett for doing something very difficult and uncomfortable for the sake of the team because they were desperate. And they didn't necessarily hold it against Jimmy Garoppolo. They didn't play through his injury, but they noticed that one guy did and one guy didn't. That's the way Borges put it at the time. Like, it's unfair to hold it against Jimmy, but they noticed. And it's something to look for going forward. And really, if you think about it, Jimmy's never proven that he's that tough guy like, say, C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins. Beathard's played through a lot of stuff. Mullins, I think, had like a bone popping out of his skin in his thumb, something like that in college, and like popped it back in and played. These guys have done that kind of stuff. Jimmy, I think Shanahan has that question, and he's putting it out there like, dude, you're going to have to play through this the rest of the year. If your numbers are a little bit down, people will understand, but you have to make it through the game. You got to play. You got to compete. I don't think he competed last week, and I don't think the Niners competed either. So a challenge from Kyle Shanahan to Jimmy Garoppolo. Interesting, because it seems like Shanahan's been challenging Jimmy Garoppolo nonstop since 2017. It seems to me that Shanahan had his heart set on Kirk Cousins, didn't get him, got Jimmy Garoppolo instead, and begrudgingly said, okay, dude, fine. You need to play this well, or else I'm going to continue to want Kirk Cousins. And Jimmy Garoppolo has never played whatever this well is. I don't know if Kirk Cousins has either. But in Shanahan's mind, there is this bar that Jimmy can't hit that Cousins hit a long time ago. I don't know. No one else in reality, in the real world, sees it that way, but Shanahan does.